Hello my friends, this is going to be a very special video because I am making gumbo, the food of mine people, and later my sister is going to come over and we're going to eat it together because she is my people and I am her people and we love each other. Also, yesterday was Halloween and my eyes are still recovering from all of the stuff that I had on them, so I promise I haven't been like crying. At least not that much. I have a lot of energy tonight and I'm a little chaos brained and I don't have too much of a plan, but you know, when you don't have too much of a plan is the perfect time to make gumbo because it is so easy and so simple, and I think it's going to be the best thing that I could possibly make for my first cooking video. The pot that I'm using, I use for literally everything, and it just like lives on this burner, and I like rinse it out probably like 2 times a day because there's always something to rinse out of it, and then it's time to heat something else up. So if you know literally nothing about gumbo, gumbo is one of the staple foods of the American South, and it's usually specifically associated with Louisiana and Louisiana foodways, food culture, although other states of course do kind of have their own gumbo. Even in Louisiana there's going to be differences from family to family, town to town, on how exactly they prepare and serve their gumbo. The gumbo that I'm going to make is the gumbo of my family, which has its roots in the Cajun prairie. So the only necessary ingredients of this gumbo are the Cajun Trinity, okay, which is three green things: green onion, green bell pepper, and celery. And then you need a roux-based broth. And then you need whatever word becomes the type of gumbo you make. So if it's seafood gumbo, your 5th ingredient is seafood. If it's duck gumbo, which is mostly the gumbo I grew up with, I'm vegan now, so we're not going to be doing that. You can make chicken gumbo, sausage gumbo. Any word that's right there becomes the name of the gumbo. Okra gumbo is what we're going to do because that keeps it both very traditional, because the word gumbo probably comes from an African word for okra. And also I'm vegan and I don't really like putting mock meats and stuff like that inside gumbo. My fridge just turned on and it started humming. I hope that is not too loud of a noise, but I guess we'll see in post. So literally everything other than those 5 core ingredients that I just mentioned is optional and only serves to make your gumbo a little bit extra fancier. And I am going to add in some optional stuff. I'm going to add in just some garlic and onion straight at the beginning because I think that tastes good in everything as a sort of base for flavor. I'm just literally going to put this entire onion in my gumbo. Obviously adjust so that it matches your taste. I will cut half of this onion very tiny. Then I'm probably going to cut the other half with bigger chunks. I really like variance in my vegetable shapes and textures and sizes in food. Whenever everything's too uniform, it makes me feel like I'm eating at a restaurant, which can be nice, but it's not what I'm going for. I think big ol' onion chunks is a great vibe. Speaking of onion and garlic, these 2 ingredients are some of the most classic starters to any delicious meal because they have so much flavor and delicious savory intricacy, and they're so aromatic, and there's definitely some reason to believe that we have evolved to adore the taste of onion and garlic so much because they're so healthy and they both have a lot of antimicrobial qualities, antibacterial qualities, and they're so full of nutrients. And especially as we go into the colder months, it is more important than ever to take care of your immune system and take care of yourself. And what better way to do that than to keep up with your doctor's appointments? I am very guilty of driving myself mad when I notice that something feels off. About 2 years ago, I got a rash rosea, and instead of going to the doctor's office immediately, I was doom scrolling about it for at least 5 hours and sending all my friends pictures of it as if they could help me. I wanted to talk to someone about what was going on, but I was too nervous to go through all of the hassle of finding an actual doctor, and that is where ZocDoc comes in, today's video sponsor. ZocDoc is a free website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and click instantly to book an appointment. And ZocDoc isn't just for one type of care. From primary care to health care, eye care to urgent care to mental health and more, it is your one-stop shop for all of your healthcare needs. Plus, it's completely free to use. The best thing about ZocDoc, in my opinion, is that it is scrollable. And scrolling for our generation is a self-soothing activity. But instead of doom scrolling on ZocDoc, you can scroll yourself right into a doctor's appointment. No guesswork and no phone calls necessary. Plus, ZocDoc helps you get appointments fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking, and you can even score same-day appointments. No need to call doctor's offices and wait on hold either. ZocDoc lets you do it all online. Stop waiting, stop guessing, and start getting the care you need. Go to ZocDoc.com/sleepy to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/sleepy to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. Thank you to ZocDoc for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back into it. I'm onion crying now. I'm sorry. I don't have any cooking oil right now, which I know is very bachelor of me. I'm sorry. But this is the roux that I'm using. If y'all are wondering why I'm not making my own roux, it's because my cousin makes this. This is my cousin. This is a very dark roux, and I'll talk more about it when we get to that part. But roux always comes with a lot of extra oil on top, and so I'm just going to use that extra oil as my cooking oil tonight, because if I didn't use it as my cooking oil, I would just be throwing it out, because really all you want to use as the actual roux is the non-oil part. So yeah, I'm just going to put a little bit of this in the pot and throw in my garlic and onions. It's important to remember always, whenever people are being purists about food, that gumbo specifically has always been a food of the simple folk of Louisiana, of the immigrants and the enslaved people and the indigenous people. Gumbo comes from a fusion of French cooking methods with the roux, indigenous hunting and trapping and foraging in South Louisiana, and it's named after, like I said, I think I said this earlier, although I might not have. It's named after one of the African words for okra. So it really is a beautiful mix of cultures in a pot. Cultures of simple, hungry prairie dwellers. So this roux is called Carrie's roux, and you can get it at any grocery store in Louisiana. I had to order it from Amazon, unfortunately, because I'm not living in Louisiana anymore. I bet you could find it in Mississippi and stuff as well, but I definitely couldn't find it here in Oregon. It's a very, very dark roux. I was looking at the reviews of it on Amazon, not because I was questioning my choice, but because I wanted to see what other people had to say about it. And there's a very clear dichotomy between the people who grew up with Carrie's roux and the foreign people, because there were a lot of reviews that said, oh, this tastes just like home, this is perfect, tastes just like when I make it homemade. And then there are other reviews that say, as soon as I opened the jar, I could tell it was burnt. It smells burnt. This is disgusting. I think probably for foreigners, a dark roux like this is an acquired taste. I never like it in recipes when they give me a specific amount of garlic cloves to use, because garlic cloves are obviously such different sizes. It just feels like I'm being gaslit. Just put as much garlic as you want, you know? Do you like garlic? Do you hate garlic? Do you love garlic? Just using the oil from the roux has already made my pot smell so delicious to me. I'm not even really smelling the onions or the garlic yet. I'm just smelling that deep, dark, burnt smell. This is the okra that I'm using. And full disclosure, I've never used frozen okra like this. I've always had fresh okra in the past. I don't know if frozen okra gets slimy, but I'm gonna put this in first, like with the onions and the garlic before everything else, because if it does get slimy, I want to cook some of that slime out. I've heard people call it cooking the snot out before. Fresh okra has like a slime to it. I think the slime is healthy, but it's not very pleasant. So I'm just gonna put this in first in case it's slimy, and I guess we'll learn together. I'm just gonna put in the whole bag. And while all that is cooking, I am going to begin cutting up my Cajun Trinity. So this is what is referred to as the Cajun Trinity. These three things go in just about every Cajun recipe. Green bell pepper, which is the cheapest bell pepper. That's why it's important. And it has to be green. If you put red bell pepper in your gumbo, you're being imaginative, okay? I love exploration, but if you want to be traditional, it has to be a green bell pepper and green onion and celery. 3 cheap green things, the base of every Cajun recipe. So that's 1 bell pepper's worth. Now I'm gonna do my celery. I'm gonna cut off some of the bits I don't want. A couple months ago, I got really into this YouTube channel called, I think it's Josh and Mama. I think it's Josh and Mama. It's some guy's name and Mama. And I think they're from North Carolina. They might be from South Carolina. But it's a cooking channel between them. And they both have such wonderful Southern accents. In Louisiana, we have a very different accent from the Carolinas. Because it's more of a relic from the French settlers rather than the English or something. English or Scottish, much more French, much more Caribbean. But I love their accents and I love their free-spirited attitude towards food. I grew up in a household that had a very free-spirited attitude towards food. And whenever I went vegan, I was really lucky. I went vegan when I was 15, and my parents were not happy about it. But they fed me. They fed me good food, and they did not feed me weird food. And my dad pretty quickly figured out how to make vegan drop biscuits, just like his mom. My mama made him on Saturday mornings, so we were able to keep up that tradition. And vegan gumbo, and vegan dirty rice, vegan jambalaya, all those things my dad figured out how to make for me. And honestly, I think the fact that I was still eating my dad's gumbo and he was calling it vegan was really good for me. Otherwise, I might feel, if I were the one veganizing those recipes, I might feel more like I was imposing something on my family's cooking culture. And I would just probably have a less good relationship with all of it. So I'm really grateful to my dad for that, and my mom. My dad cooks really good Cajun food. My mom is a little bit more worldly, and so when I went vegan, we had a lot more Indian food nights when my mom was cooking, or just really creative food nights that weren't necessarily Cajun, but were always delicious and fun. I have so many memories of chopping vegetables with my mom for hours, making these massive salads that would last us, you know, a week. We really did have a tradition of Indian food night where we would watch some Indian movie. It was usually either Life of Pi or Slumdog Millionaire. And we would cook while we watched the movie, Indian movies. It was so fun. All right, that's 2 of the Trinity down, and most of my cutting board is full of greenery now. So I think I'm just gonna put all these in early because the green onions don't need to cook for as long as everything else. I will be adding one more bonus ingredient just so that there's a little bit more bulk to the gumbo. And that bonus ingredient is this incredible cauliflower. This is called a Romanesco, I believe. Does this have mold on it? Okay, no, it doesn't. It's just broken. I was about to get so sad. It does not have mold on it. There's just some of the little points that are broken off, so they look a little bit white, but not mold. Isn't this incredible? This is definitely not traditional, but I think this is allowed. It's not crazy. To me, this is way less crazy than a tomato. Some people put tomatoes in their gumbo, and that is also traditional. It's just a different tradition. Tomatoes are more traditional, I think, in New Orleans gumbos, and some other states put tomatoes in their gumbos, which sounds wild to me. But I've put mushrooms in my gumbo, potatoes, cauliflower, those kinds of dark, heavier vegetables. I feel like they work for me, and water chestnuts. I don't think that's traditional either, but my dad always put water chestnuts in our gumbo. I don't know why. I think he just liked the crunch of a water chestnut, so I'm putting those in our gumbo too. I want to show y'all the best way to cut a cauliflower because I've seen way too many people fight them like this, and I've also seen way too many people cut off the end like this and then waste a lot. Here's what you want to do. You want to cut it down the middle, okay? Cut it down the middle, and then I might get some little cauliflower bits on my floor, but then it's really easy to break all this other stuff off. And then there's no more bad part. And then all I have to do is cut off this little bit. That's the only good part on there. It's a great hack. I'm gonna keep my cauliflowers pretty big because I think they're gonna kind of be like the meatiest part of this. Okay, before I keep messing with that, I'm gonna go ahead and mix my roux. So what I'm gonna do is get a little bowl like this, and I'm gonna spoon out just some of this dry stuff on top. And this is what I was taught about making pretty much any soup. You can always add more water, but it's pretty hard to take water out. I was always taught to water down your roux almost like you're making like a cornstarch slurry until it's nice and smooth, because it's really dry. If y'all can see, it's like a clay almost. So it's really dry. So water it down until you get kind of like a slurry, and then pour it in. And if you want more water in your broth, you pour it in, but it's really easy to put too much water. So be careful. Water is basically the last ingredient in gumbo. Literally every time I make gumbo, I accidentally make too much, and I can tell I'm doing that again. All right, so now this is kind of a homogeneous, thick mixture. It's a little bit chunky, but not too chunky. It's mostly smooth. So now I'm gonna put that in, and then put in a little bit of vegetable broth to thin everything out and make it more of a stew. Okay, I did some halfway cleanup. I put a lot more broth in my pot, but still probably not as much as I will at the end. I started some rice because you always serve gumbo with a little bit of rice, with like a scoop or two of rice in your bowl. And now I want to show y'all what the pot looks like so far. So as you can see, it's mostly vegetable chunks, because you can always add more water, and I'm sure we will. We still don't have everything in it yet. And if y'all want to see kind of the consistency, it's thick. It's not like crazy thick. I might actually add a little bit more roux before I perfect the texture. I'm gonna finish adding my really big cauliflower chunks. I like keeping them big because I really like having something to bite into with my teeth. I'm also going to add these water chestnuts to give it a little crunch. Extremely unnecessary step here, like almost even more than unnecessary. Like, I feel like they're kind of radical. In they go. In case y'all have never had a water chestnut, it's probably crazy to just eat one out of the can, but I'm gonna do it anyway, so y'all know what I'm talking about when I say the crunch. They're so good. They don't have a lot of flavor, but they're almost sweet, and they're very full of water. I guess that's why they're called a water chestnut, and they're delicious. So now I'm gonna let that cook covered for a hot second and cook down a little bit. It'll all get a little bit more watery, a little bit more soupy. Everything will meld together. I'll probably end up adding a little bit more roux and a little bit more broth, but we'll see once things cook down. And while we wait, I'm going to talk about seasoning, okay? This is Tony Chachere's. Louisiana has a lot of seasoning mixes. I have another one here as well. This is Slap Ya Mama, and this is Tony Chachere's. These are probably the two biggest seasoning brands in Louisiana. Is there another one that I can't think of? I feel like there is. Zatarain's, that's one that I'm forgetting. I don't have Zatarain's with me. Tony Chachere's is what I mainly grew up with. We always had Slap Ya Mamas in the kitchen, but personally I never used it that much. I put Tony Chachere's on everything growing up. And in Louisiana, it's kind of a joke that people a lot of times like carry mini Tony Chachere's around with them. This is the Cajun seasoning, okay? I can't imagine buying a Cajun seasoning mix that's just called Cajun seasoning mix, okay? If you want to buy a Cajun seasoning mix, buy Tony Chachere's, I implore you, or Slap Ya Mama's. The biggest difference between them is that Tony Chachere's has a lot of salt in it, so you don't have to add salt. But some people think it's too salty, but that's usually because they make the mistake of also putting in salt. If you buy Cajun seasoning, labeled as Cajun seasoning, it doesn't usually include salt. This has a lot of salt in it, and then also a lot of spiciness. What are the main ingredients? I don't even know. Directions: use it like salt. Ingredients: salt, red pepper, black pepper, chili powder, dehydrated garlic, and then Slap Ya Mama, salt, black pepper, red pepper, granulated garlic. So honestly pretty similar. I guess they both have a lot of salt, but I feel like I've heard more people complain about the salt content in Tony Chachere's. I would never complain about salt content. Yes. Whenever I was a child, I ate grits a lot. I guess my 3 normal breakfasts on rotation were grits, oatmeal, and waffles. And whenever I had grits, this is really common in the South, whenever you're a little kid, you have sugar grits. So it's just grits mixed with sugar, and then eventually you kind of graduate into being an adult, and you have grits that are more savory. In my household, what that meant, savory grits, was like spicy grits, and it would always be a little bit of butter and a little bit of Tony Chachere's. And the more Tony Chachere's you put on it, the more like street cred you got for handling spicy food. I just put a lot of Tony Chachere's in the gumbo. This is starting to smell so delicious. I added a little bit more roux and a little bit more broth. And for my tastes as a vegan who doesn't have like any meat or anything in here, this is like the perfect kind of density of broth to chunk. It's a lot of chunk, okay? There's a lot of big chunks in here, and I like that. I don't think, for my taste, gumbo should be super thinned out. These big cauliflower bits are still a little bit hard, so it definitely needs to cook for a little bit longer. But one of my favorite things about gumbo is that, as I said earlier, it really is a food of the simple prairie folk. It's pretty hard to mess up. You put in the pot what you have. It's okay if you need to change the ratio of this or that. It's okay if you don't have onion and garlic. It's okay if you don't have meat. It's okay if you don't have okra. As long as you have that Cajun Trinity and a roux base and just some rice that you serve with it, it really does count as gumbo. It's very hard to mess up. And there are so many dishes that I think people nitpick about, especially cultural dishes. And for me, as it concerns Cajun cooking, the most inauthentic thing would be to gatekeep it, because Southern hospitality is so real, and there's no Cajun person in the universe who, if you went into their house, would deny you a pot of gumbo that they're cooking. That just would not happen. It can be very fun to playfully nitpick at the people who put tomatoes in their gumbo, or the people who put, I'm sure some people will take issue with the fact that it's a vegan gumbo, that I put that crazy cauliflower in there, or even just the fact that I don't come across Cajun enough to some people. But in my opinion, the only thing you need for your gumbo to be authentic is for you to have learned it from a Cajun person. And so I think all of y'all can cook up a pot of Cajun prairie gumbo, and I sure won't be calling it unauthentic. And also, you have my permission to use a pre-made roux. You don't have to make your own. I do think it's worth mentioning, though, just in case Carrie himself sees this video. I know I said we're cousins, but we are distant cousins, and you might not know I'm your cousin, but I promise there's a connection. I'm not gonna dox either of us. Look at that go. It's kind of at a gentle boil now, so I'm just gonna put it down a little bit. And while this cooks, I am going to go see how this footage comes out. Whenever my sister gets here, we're gonna serve it up with some rice, and I'll also show y'all our little side dish that we're making. All right, y'all, I've been letting this cook for about an hour while I was editing, and it has turned into deliciousness. Look at it. Oh, perfect. Let me zoom in on that for y'all. I want to make sure y'all get a good view. There we go. All of the cauliflower has completely softened. It's so tender, and everything kind of looks brown and muddy and swampy, which is perfect. That's exactly what we're going for. I also added in a lot of black pepper and a little bit of salt. Let's go ahead and get a taste of just the broth, okay? All right, let's go for it. Oh my God. I'm licking my hand because that is perfect. I can't wait to eat a whole bowl of this. Oh my gosh, I'm excited. I'm going to wait now. Time has passed, everyone. We are now serving gumbo, and my cat is also eating gently in the corner, so you might hear her munching on her kibble. This is my sister.
It's my shoulder.
Yep, this is my sister's shoulder and hands. We have served up each a bowl of gumbo. So as you can see, there's a lot of rice at the bottom, and then the stew is right on top.
I think I put maybe more stew. I like that ratio for myself.
Yeah, I think Hannah likes a little bit more broth.
Soupy. Yeah. I just put a bunch of the broth in at the end.
Yeah, just a layer of the stew at the bottom. And then we also have some little toasties. This is how we used to make toast in our house.
How we used to reuse resources.
Reuse resources. We were very resourceful. Our whole family, it wasn't just us.
Yeah.
I mean, I think probably Dad did this first.
Well, I know Dad got it from his mom.
Oh, okay.
My mom did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So it's just hot dog buns. These ones are dessert because they have cinnamon on them. This one's got a little bit burnt, but that's okay. I'll have that one. These just have butter on them. It's always good to have some bread with your gumbo because you are a starving peasant and you need the carbs.
Yeah, no, for sure. This is like one of my favorite peasant foods.
Yeah, hot dog buns really go hard.
Just gumbo in general, I mean. But
Yeah.
hot dog buns for sure. Yeah.
This is what we are going to sprinkle on top of our gumbo. This is called filet or gumbo filet, and it's like a little green powder, and it comes from the sassafras plant. I think it's the root, but it might be the leaves. It might be the leaves.
I don't know.
It's green,
Yeah.
which makes me think leaf, but it's from the sassafras plant, and it's ground into a powder, and we just use it like a little seasoning. But it's very important to put it in right before you eat it because the flavor cooks out of it really fast.
And this is just store-bought one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were lucky when we lived in Louisiana with our parents, but our dad would get filet from really down the bayou from like somebody's house. Like he had a guy.
Yeah.
He had a filet guy. You would go pick up filet from.
That's okay.
That's okay. There's just a big hole. There's not a shaky hole.
I don't have a sprinkler.
Wait, can I tell you something really funny that Dad said once?
Yes.
Okay, so I was polling people to figure out how they like use Tony's, like the container, like if they pour it out, like how many holes are showing.
Yeah.
And if they tap it or if they shake it. Because I'm a shaker.
You shake it, yeah.
But I asked Dad and he says that he said he pours it out the big hole. Like, wow, boss level.
Boss level
Tony
Tony's.
Sacheries.
Yeah.
Which it's pronounced Sacheries. A lot of people mispronounce that.
Yeah.
My boyfriend says Chacheries, and I think he's finally figured it out. But yeah, and then on our mom's side, a really funny thing was our grandfather thought it was Tony Cacheras. So,
That's our non-Cajun grandfather.
yeah, he's from Wisconsin. Bless his heart.
It sounds more like Mexican or something, like Cacheras.
Yeah, no, it's definitely ethnic.
Just the wrong ethnicity.
Oh, it's very good.
Thank you. Thank you. So, I think we need to answer the question that is on everyone's mind right now. Hannah, Why don't we have Cajun accents?
Oh, yeah. Well, I've developed a whole narrative about it because I get asked so much.
Yeah.
I'm eating a water chestnut.
That's okay. I've also developed a narrative. I feel like
We can compare stories.
what I usually say is that it's because I did so much theater from a young age, and not even formal theater, but like informally. Hannah and I watched so many musicals, especially Julie Andrews musicals. And we started talking in British accents whenever we were really little. And we also just like watched a lot of movies, and I think we picked up a lot from what we watched, and we would act out stuff all the time.
There's some assimilation that happened,
Yeah.
But I have some other tidbits in my narrative because I do usually say we watched a lot of Julie Andrews, Mary Poppins, Sound of Music, but also so our mom is not Cajun. I think kind of on a fundamental level as a baby and as a toddler we're picking up the language of our parents, so our mom does not have a Cajun accent. And then I also learned to speak in Rhode Island, which you didn't. You were a baby.
Right. I was born in Rhode Island, fun fact.
So
but our family was from, our dad was from Louisiana, and was always planning, or I don't know if he was always planning, I don't think he was, but he was in Rhode Island for a short amount of time, which was when I was born. My mom was also there.
We were a single unit family at the time.
Yes. And so I was born with my mom and my dad.
As many of us are.
As many of us are. And then we moved back to Louisiana when I was about 1.5.
So I was like 3.
Yeah.
3-ish. 3.5.
Yeah.
No, I think like 3. So, but I had a little Rhode Island accent.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm like, did I actually just have a speech impediment for a while? Hard to say.
Yeah.
But, like, I'd say Boyd and water, here, things like that. But
And I think I also learned a lot from Hannah when it came to speaking. So that probably affected me.
An embarrassing learning to talk and spell thing, which is that because I didn't pronounce the ER on the back of a lot of words, I thought sofa was spelled SOFER. Until one day my little 2nd grade hands were spelling it out, and it was called out to me that is not how you spell sofa, and that has an A at the end. And I felt like a really dumb child. A really embarrassing mistake was how it felt. I was like, that's fundamentally just like so embarrassing to my ego.
When I was in 2nd grade, I had a similar thing happen. Me and this girl, this other girl in our class was perfect in basically every way. And we were partnered up in class for some kind of project. And I spelt because wrong on something, which isn't that big of a deal, but it was something that I did incorrectly. And she, in the like nicest way possible, literally put her hand on mine and was like, Tessa, you spelled because wrong. You're better than this. And I almost cried. Like, I felt so deeply ashamed of spelling because wrong.
She was definitely like modeling some adult's behavior.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was like, it's my turn to be the smart one. Someone I'm sure did that exact same thing to her.
Yeah, probably so.
So other things I always have to check if I'm spelling wrong are things with like multiple double letters or a weird one like vacuum. I know it's 2 U's, but I always forget if it's 2 C's or it's 1 C. And another one is opossum. Because there's a few double letters. The S. And then I'm like, is there
the P?
Is it? Yeah, that's the one I'm always forgetting, if it's also a P or if it's not. And
Possum.
every time I have to spell those, I have to check. Anyway, going back. Mom, not from Louisiana. Her parents, or she grew up in Texas, but her parents are from Wisconsin. They have a whole different accent. So I think there's just some canceling out. But I feel like a lot of people in our generation, like, they don't necessarily have it. But I mean, our cousins
do.
And they watched just even more TV than we do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would say it's parental.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
The other question that I know people are going to ask is, how can you be vegan and Cajun at the same time? And I just want to say there is so much more to Cajunness than food, first of all. It's like music,
Well,
it's language.
Something you're, like, typically, I would say, inherited. It's an ethnicity. So, I mean, maybe it doesn't have to only be that, but, I mean, we are biologically Cajun.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, and then the other, vegan, is a choice.
Yeah.
And I don't like it when people tell girls what they can or can't do. And I think I choose vegan.
Yeah.
And I choose Cajun.
Yeah.
Most days.
And
But we also are Cajun, even if we didn't want to be Cajun.
that's true.
Yeah.
And another way to think of it, in my opinion, is that even though the word vegan is like fairly new, like a 20th century word, I think, there have always been people throughout history who've abstained from meat and from animal products in general for religious reasons, or just because of hard times, or because of just personal preference in other ways. And I doubt that we are the first vegans, choice vegans in our entire lineage as Homo sapiens, especially considering a big part of being Cajun is being French, and the Cathars were a mostly French Catholic heretical movement who were some of the first documented, definitely vegan. They abstained from all animal products. That said, they didn't have many descendants because they all were killed by the Crusaders.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Plot twist.
But, you know, it's a little French. It's a little French to be vegan, okay? That's my argument.
Full send. Also, I know in our lineage, Dad has said that it's like one of our great-grandmothers was like kind of an animal whisperer. Which I think, you know, for so long we were like Cajun people did rely on animal products. It was like, I mean, it's not the same system we have now.
Yeah.
It's just part of the infrastructure of like what they had.
Yeah, definitely.
And so it's just different than what we're dealing with now. But there have always been animal lovers in our history, family history.
Yes.
Those are really good.
Yay.
I'm gonna have a toast.
Yes, please. Yeah, this is really good. It's like hard for me not to just like shut up and eat it.
Good job, Tessa.
Thank you. So there's a lot of gumbo memories that both of us have because gumbo was such a regular thing growing up. Even though gumbo, I feel like, is good for any time of year, if I were to associate it with a holiday, I feel like I associate it with Christmas because Dad went on hunting trips.
For me, it's Halloween.
Okay, yeah, we did have gumbo for Halloween
Yeah,
too.
gumbo it was like the first gumbo of the season.
Yeah, we had like a big pot always because we had a big Halloween party, and so there was just a massive pot of gumbo for Halloween. Yeah, I think I associate it with Christmas because that's when our family did a lot of their duck hunting. Because there's also birthdays in our family around Christmas, and so they would go on like birthday duck hunting trips. And duck gumbo, I said this earlier, was mostly the gumbo that we grew up eating. We didn't, in our house, I don't think we ever had like shrimp gumbo. Every now and then I feel like there would be sausage in our gumbo.
I think, yeah, it was typically sausage and duck.
Sausage and duck,
Yeah, that's a thing. Sometimes people did Like, I guess the other kind that I would say we were around was sausage and chicken.
Yeah.
We didn't do a lot of shrimp. To
Yeah.
me, shrimp is not a gumbo thing, even though I know that's very common.
Yeah. Which I think is a lot more common, having gumbos that are more sausage and chicken and deer and also like other land animals. I think that's more common in like the Cajun Prairie area, and then it's more of like the Mississippi Delta, the Bayou country, which is more south Louisiana, has more like seafood gumbo because they're next to the sea.
Which, that's where we lived.
Yeah.
But our dad was a Prairie Cajun.
Right.
So we grew up with a Prairie Cajun gumbo. Yeah.
Yes. And duck gumbo. I don't think I've ever had duck that wasn't hunted, but I will say wild duck has a really specific and pretty good taste. It has like a dark meat. And this is probably true of all wild animals, but they're much more like, I don't think it's exactly leanness, but it's like the muscle that they have is more developed or something.
The way Dad would say it, and I love, everyone wants to hear vegans talk about how good meat is. But the way Dad would say it is, it tastes like it's flown.
Yeah, it tastes like it's flown. Yeah.
And that's the only way I know how to describe it, which is
And
very
honestly,
poetic.
that probably influenced our veganism a little bit as well. Because we were always thinking about all the birds that couldn't fly.
That stuff was, I think, for you too. I know we were kind of joking just now, but that's like the prettiest way to consume meat.
Yeah.
You know, your pawpaw killed it. If everyone's pawpaws and dads and also women
Yeah.
were the ones that were like just this, you know, the people you knew were doing it,
Yeah.
there might not be so much of a vegan impulse. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And another really fun part about that was the wishbone.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Ducks have a wishbone. I think chickens do too, which is probably how most people think about the wishbone. But ducks have them as well. And so every time we had gumbo, there was always kind of a question of who's going to get the wishbone, who's going to get the wishbone.
And crack
then
it.
once we found it, Hannah and I, and this is like a tradition for kids, we would hold it by the different ends and pull it apart. And whoever got the bigger end would have their wish come true, I think, supposedly.
Snap, yeah, you make a wish.
Yeah.
Like a...
Our spoons make different sounds. Because mine's wooden.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
Mine's a loud spoon, so the loud spoon is mine.
I honestly think probably the gumbo that I consumed second most in my life after our family's gumbo was probably our elementary school's gumbo.
Yeah.
Which was not very good. But it was one of the better elementary school lunches that they would have. It was much more thin, for sure. I don't remember. I think it was also sausage usually. Maybe chicken.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate that they made us something. It wasn't just freezer stuff. Like, I feel like a lot of that stuff was.
Yeah.
But yeah. But was that the gumbo that came in styrofoam? Or did they have little bowls? I can't remember.
I can't remember either. We've also had a lot of gumbo in styrofoam cups.
Yeah, it's like cups or the styrofoam bowls that seem too flimsy.
Yeah.
Just feels like such like a visceral thing. It's a gumbo and styrofoam. Which I wonder how all those bowls are doing now.
Yeah.
If they're still with us. If they're in the chat.
Bowls, are you in the chat? I feel like there a lot of times at football games, I know they always had like jambalaya and stuff, but I feel like they sometimes had gumbo too, but I might be making that up.
I'd say maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely jambalaya was a thing.
Yeah.
Which I have tried some vegan jambalaya recipes. I haven't done it enough to figure it out what I really like. I think the last one that I tried was a little bit too tomatoey. Because that is a profile difference. Jambalaya has tomato.
Right.
But, yeah, that one tasted slightly more, maybe African. Because, I mean, there's a lot of African elements.
Right.
But I think it was missing kind of the Cajun umami.
The Cajun cacheras.
Yeah. I have a happy plate.
As do I.
Okay, but now dessert.
Yes. Now it's dessert time with our cinnamon bun.
Tingles.
Another thing that our dad used to say about a meal like gumbo, but pretty much any good meal, was that it sticks to your bones really well. And what that means is like it really deeply satisfies you. It makes you feel full for a long time. You're not going to get hungry again in 30 minutes or an hour.
Also, it doesn't make you have like stomach issues, to put it mildly. It's like a very calming. Yeah, like my stomach was built for this.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel built for some things I eat.
Yeah, I agree. Like quinoa. I like it, but I'm not built for it.
Sometimes like seitan.
Yeah.
Or like, sometimes vegan cheese. My stomach's not built for that.
Yeah. Sometimes I go too hard on kimchi. I really like kimchi. I really like dipping apples in kimchi, but sometimes I go too hard on it. It's a crazy combination. I know, but it tastes really good to me.
It's really good. I like the carcinogen parts.
Right before Hannah got here, I was cooking this toast, and I completely burnt the previous batch of it. It doesn't take long to make toast, so it wasn't a big deal. But it was like black, completely burnt. And so I really was kind of looking forward to my place smelling like gumbo when she arrived, but it smelled like smoke instead.
I actually smelled it from the parking lot.
Yeah, she smelled it from the parking lot.
Yeah, but I was like, burnt toast. But when I walked in, I was like, oh, it's very burnt.
Yeah.
The smells of home.
Yes.
Burnt toast masking everything else.
I feel like that is one of the biggest differences in like architecture from the south to the north, is that in the south, houses are made for airflow to aerate as much as possible.
Fans.
Yeah, fans.
On the ceiling, yeah.
Fans and a lot of big windows, and a lot of the oldest houses in the south, they're built so that the front door and the back door are like on the same plane, so that the air travels all the way through the house. Because AC is kind of new, whereas in the north it's like the opposite. It's pretty hard to get the air flowing everywhere.
Yeah, it's built for heat really well.
Yeah, heat.
Yeah.
Retention.
Yeah, the house that I live in is pretty old, and it does have an AC now, but the house is just not really built for AC. So it's like a lot of cold pockets.
Yeah, that's how
But
my
heat is
apartment
pretty
is
good.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to take any home? I have plenty.
I will if you're not. If you like, yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna use some of it, but not all of it.
I'll take some.
Yeah.
I'll take all the survey. Hell yeah. You have Tupperware.
Well, I'm glad you came over and enjoyed your gumbo.
Thank you, I did.
Would you like to do any ASMR?
Thank you for the gumbo.
Yeah. Do you want to do some up-close whispers just for fun?
And I'm very much looking forward to the next time you make gumbo. And also the gumbo I'll eat tomorrow that you're gonna give me in a Tupperware.
I hope that you enjoy the gumbo as much tomorrow as you did tonight.
Sometimes it's better on the second day. It like sits overnight and the flavors like meld. Yeah, so looking forward to that. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you everyone for hanging out with us tonight. And I hope y'all have a lovely beginning of cold